Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Uh, this is Dr. Arif Hussain. I am working as a senior registrar in Prime Teaching Hospital. So today, topic of my presentation is the clinical outcome and complication of endoscopic endonasal transfemoral surgery for pituitary adenoma, experience at Prime Teaching Hospital, Peshawar. So this is the hospital where currently I am working. So introduction, pituitary adenoma accounts for about 15% of all intracranial neoplasm. Pituitary tumors may present with syndrome related to the local mass effect or hormonal axis. Large pituitary adenoma may compress the normal pituitary, causing hypopituitarism, visual field loss due to the compression of the optic tract, or palsy of the cranial nerves due to the cavernous sinus invasion. So these are the types and symptoms: prolactin secreting tumors and growth hormone. Again, another one. I am not going in detail. So classification is Knopp's modified Hardy classification and Knopp's classification. All of you are familiar to these classifications. And these are the various paranasal sinuses and nasal septal variations. So these are the sphenoid sinuses, pneumatized and non-pneumatized sphenoid sinuses. Pneumatized are the cellar and paracellar, and the non-pneumatized are the choanal. So in the third one, endoscopic transfemoral surgery is not possible in the last one. So investigations, MRI brain with contrast with pituitary protocol, CT brain with bone window plus minus hormonal profile, visual acuity and perimetry is required. This is the picture, contrast showing the sagittal and parasagittal, and the coronal curve showing the snowman appearance. So studies the clinical outcome and complication of endoscopic endonasal transfemoral surgery for pituitary adenoma. Objectives to ascertain the clinical outcome and complication of endoscopic endonasal transfemoral surgery for pituitary adenoma. The study duration was June 2017 to 2020, 3 years. Total patients were included 89. Inclusion criteria, both gender, age from 15 to 70, and cellular supracellular tumor amenable to pituitary approach. And exclusion criteria, recurrent tumors and patient not fit for the surgery. So total 89 patients were selected to non-probability consecutive samples, and patients were diagnosed on basis of MRI brain with contrast. And post-surgical outcome and complication were documented and analyzed to SPSS 20. This is the pre-op preparation, taking informed consent, and also for the study. These are the surgical steps. I'm not going into detail. General anesthesia, nasal packing with adrenaline and xylocaine, adjustment of endoscope, confirm with the white balancing. There are few steps like nasal work, sinus work, tumor work, and surgeon satisfaction, which is very important. At the end, nasal packing depend upon the operating surgeon. So the results are total number were 89. So out of 89, 48, which is 54%, were male and 41% female. Mean age was 42. So the presenting complaint was headache. 82% was the most common presentation, followed by decreased visual acuity 56, or amenorrhea, which is in the females, it's 19, and acromegaly 26%. These overall rate of early surgical improvement in symptoms was achieved in 77% of the patient, and surgical outcome was better in patient with microadenoma 80%. That in patient with the macroadenoma was 61%, whereas the tumor invading the cavernous sinus had poor outcome, that is 22%. Most common complication was observed transient diabetes insipidus, followed by CSF leak and post-op hematoma formation, and mortality were 5 patients. So this is the frequency. Most of the patients come into 30 into 55 in range. Again, the gender distribution, 48 male and 41 patients with the females. These are the detailed symptoms: the headache, headache with visual acuity, and most of the patients present with headache with decreased visual acuity was 40, and headache with amenorrhea is 12. So overall, acromegalic, these are the 3 patients. Again, this is the pie chart. So patient improved 77 patients, complicated 12 patients. So this is the complication. Transient diabetes insipidus is 6, and they were conservatively management. CSF leak, 4 patient, and hematoma formation, as I discussed earlier, it was 2. The patient discharged, 84 patients were discharged, and expired patient were 5. This is the short video as a case presentation and surgical steps. This is the patient, acromegalic patient. So informed consent was taken from the patient that the study should be presented in national and international conference. These are the pre-op images of the patient. Now after general anesthesia, that this is the surgical. Now we are going to lateralize the middle turbinate and nasal work is going. Now this is the sphenoid work. We are going to expose the sphenoid ostium, identification of the septa. The surgeon should be always in the midline to avoid any complication in the surgery. So now this is the eggshell bone, the thin out bone on the sphenoid sinuses, because due to the pressure of the tumor, this bone become thin out, and you can
1 minute left.
Okay. Now, after this, there is a durotomy. So many surgeons, some surgeons is going for the cross incision, and some surgeon is going for the linear incision. So with the help of Bennett knife, we are going for a durotomy. You can see that the tumor is coming out. Now this is further now debulking of the tumor. So most of the time surgeon starts from either 6 o'clock or 12 o'clock, and 360 evacuate or debulk the tumor. So there are 3 things very important for the surgeon's satisfaction. When you can see the arachnoid pulsation, arachnoid bulging, or arachnoid stop bleeding, there, if the tumor is removed, the bleeding will be automatically stopped. And the third one is when you go for 360, there will be no remnant tumor. So if you are going to debulk the tumor, ask your anesthetist to give Valsalva maneuver to push the remnant tumor if there, it will come out. And at the end, it is up to you. If you are enough that there is no bleeding, so you are not supposed to put even a catheter. So this is conclusion. Endoscopic endonasal transsphenoidal surgery is a safe, less invasive, cosmetically effective technological advancement for pituitary adenomas. Thank you.